free fatty acid, when it's very high, it means that the oil that you recover after refining will be low. I give you an instance. If you put your oil into a refinery to convert it to this cooking oil, King's, what do you call it now? You know, this roofing or power oil, King's oil, you know, all those oil. We get them through refining and fractionation of palm oil. So the first thing they do is that red oil, when you pour it into your refinery, you know, your free fatty acid is removed. So if your free fatty acid is 2% and you pour in 100 liters, you know, you will get 98 liters of oil out. Is that also good? Because that free fatty acid is sticking out. You know, so if your free fatty acid is 10%, you pour in 100 liters, you will get out 90. If your free fatty acid is 30%, you only get out 70 liters of water. So that's why people that are refining are the ones that insist that the free fatty acid should be low. Now, high free fatty acid, agreed, it increases the oxidative stability, it reduces the oxidative stability of the oil when the free fatty acid is high. It means that that oil can become easily rancid if you keep it. But the beauty of palm oil is that palm oil contains some antioxidants, natural, you know, that helps to maintain the stability of the oil over a period of time. So you can have our red palm oil with high free fatty acid that remains stable even over a year if you store it properly. And that there are some food cuisines that we eat that you cannot prepare with oils that are very low in free fatty acid. Ucha. Ucha is used to prepare cereal. When your free fatty acid is very low, you cannot prepare it. Because the potash that you use in preparing ucha contains a mineral we call potassium, K. It is that potassium that combines with your free fatty acid to form soap. It is that soap that makes oil and water to mix, to give you that slurry that you pour into the cereal. So the Igbos call that mixture ucha. It's actually soap.
It's soap. Ucha is soap.
Exactly. Ucha is soap. So you need enough free fatty acid to combine with the potash that is coming from the potash, that potassium that is coming from the potash to form that soap. When your free fatty acid content is very low, maybe it's 1%, 2%, that mixture will not form. In the Niger Delta, there's a soup we call owo that we use in eating yam, plantain, and a lot of other things like that. It's the same ucha. We prepare the same process. You put your meat into water, you cook the meat. After the meat is cooked, then you now add potash. When you add potash, the thing is properly dissolved. You now bring it down, cool it, and then start pouring oil and turning it. You know, that's the process of soap making. So our owo is also ucha, and it is that same ucha that they use in eating all this obi, silver, and stuff. So that potash can come out of, you know, one rock sample we call lakao, or you can take empty bunch, burn it, the ash, you will collect it, dissolve it in water, sieve it so that you don't have sand with it, and pour it into that your mixture that you turn to form jam. So it's only refiners that are really concerned about free fatty acids. Not those of us that use red oil to cook soup, egusi, beans. Sometimes the higher the free fatty acid, the more the aroma of the oil, and the more tasty is the food.
Do you advise that instead of they said that if you want to get less FFA, so you process maybe for 8 hours after you harvest? Which one would you prefer, that they leave it for a week before they process, or they should process immediately?
You can leave for a week before you process, because the more time you give to the bunch to ferment, so long as it does not ferment such a way that it gives you foamy oil, you don't even need a week, 3 days. Within 3 days, the fruits will loosen out sufficiently from the bunch, because you want to knock out all the fruits that are inside the bunch. So if you process within 24 hours, the processing at a small scale does not provide sufficient steam for the fruits to be removed from the bunch. It's only the large scale processing where they do pressurized sterilization. So by the time your bunch comes out of that hot steam, all the fruits will start falling out by themselves. So when you put it inside that stripper, where the bunch is almost jumping up and down, all the fruits will come out. And by the time you finish stripping, you will see that the bunch is empty. Yeah. But at the small scale, if you want to do that within 24 hours, you can be sure that almost 30% of your fruit will still be in the bunch by the time you are throwing it away. So your extraction rate will be very low. So it's all a function of the market that you are selling your oil. If you are not selling to, or you are not going to produce sufficient quantity to sell to a refinery, you sell to the local market that accepts oil even at 10% FFA or even 20% FFA. So over or excessive fermentation can also lead to production of foamy oil. That you just find that you want to fry plantain, you want to fry the dough with your red oil. As soon as when you put it on fire, you see a lot of foam coming out of the oil. In some cases, the oil will look as if it mixed with water. So there's no clear separation in the oil. Everything will just congeal. So when your oil is likely going to be a foamy oil, it will retain a lot of water. What causes foamy oil? When you harvest, you leave your bunches in the field. Now the free fatty acid content will start increasing very highly, 30%, 40%. There's usually formation of some compounds we call partial glycerides. The real oil, in chemistry, I want to teach you chemistry now. The real oil, what we call real oil, is like letter E. We call it triglycerides. 3, 1, 2, 3. This is a glycerol backbone. This is glycerol. So these are fatty acids. When your oil is good and you process your oil within 24 hours or within 1 hour, you will have a lot of this triglycerides. Then by the time you allow your bunch to stay in the field for a very long time, rainfall, sunshine, and all sorts of things, you now end up with letter F. And maybe a single stick.
The carbon have come.
Exactly, broken from here. So instead of 3, you now have 2. This is a free fatty acid.
This one is the
Yes, 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 yes. It got detached
from the
of the triglyceride. Yes. So this free fatty acid, this guy here, that is open, can easily take water, get itself attached to water, because this body is free. You know, so when you have a lot of this inside your oil, anywhere there is water, you go and grab it. You go and grab it. So we now say that this particular letter F, sometimes is letter A. It means that two are good. This one is diglyceride. This one is monoglyceride. These two compounds, they behave like a detergent.
The hydrophilic.
Exactly. What's your background?
I'm a chemist.
That's why he's getting it.
That's very good.
I'm a chemist.
Yes.
Industrial chemist.
Yeah, okay. That's very good. You know?
She took me back to class. It's been a long time. I looked at all those bonds.
So they are hydrophilic. They take in water. Just like your detergent.
Yes.
When your plate is oily and you pour soap,
Yes.
when you rub it, you see it forms a cream.
Yes.
And that is because the detergent is taking both the water layer and the oil layer and combining the two of them together. That's exactly what these guys do. We call them emulsifiers. Do you understand?
Yes.
We call them emulsifiers. So when you allow your bunches to degrade, these are the compounds that you are forming. So when you mill out the oil, that oil will be taking in water.
So is that the reason why there are some palm oil that after a while, if you keep them, it will become too solid that even to pour it outside the can becomes a problem? We said that after sleeping.
Yes.
Because of this emulsification.
Yes, emulsification is part of it because that thing is mainly caused by the presence of water. When your oil did not dry before you pour them into your containers, you have that problem. And then the other thing is, when there are elements of effluent inside your oil, because in fact, when that thing cakes, that one you need cutlass to cut it.
Yes. Yes.
You need cutlass to cut it. It becomes caked. You know, it means that you have effluent inside that oil. Before you deal with it, you need to take it to the fire, use water to wash it several times, before you can recover the oil that is inside that place. So, in our SSP system, for instance, we have a dryer. Just like you have in big mills, you have a dryer that the oil will pass through to remove as much water as possible. Whereas the other small scale processing method, they don't have dryers. Those ones that men use their hand to be doing like this. Yeah, they don't have dryers. And those people, what they even actually do is that, they just pour the crude oil inside the drum, leave it overnight, and then start skimming off the oil that is on top. In a number of cases, they don't have sufficient time for the oil for the effluent to settle out of the oil. So you just scoop everything like that, and it makes the whole medium to cake after some time.
Is there any tests that have been developed by NIFOR to find out some of these unscrupulous oil vendors, especially when they add these additives or colorants or
yes. We have the kit. There's a kit that we released last year.
Okay.
To determine azo dyes. Because the azo dyes are like carcinogens. So we have this kit. It's just a mini TLC, chromatographic method.
Yes.
And I'll let you know that this is a colorant that is not supposed to be in it.
So it's chromatography that you used to.
Yes, chromatography. Yes. So we do that, and it's waiting for commercialization.
I thought I could get one. Before we go.
Yes. We are waiting for commercialization, and then we are also waiting to improve it and making it a household equipment.
Yes.
because the way it is now, it's really a professional equipment. It's only chemists like you that can, use that kit the way it is. They will know to make it in high-end equipment, like take the oil, drop it in it, and then you just close it, and it gives you a reading. So we are working with foreign organizations to get that done.
I can get that done quickly.
Yes. But essentially, what is required now is advocacy, among the so-called middlemen, and then the smallholders, to tell them that if you throw stone into the market, you can't tell who to eat. Yes, to eat. Don't let people, adulterate palm oil in your factory. Because some of this adulteration takes place. They take place inside the factory.
No, it doesn't take place in the factory now. They have taken it to the. I was an oil vendor. We take oil to the north, Plateau, Nasarawa. So that was what I do before I stumbled into this palm plantation stuff. So the adulteration doesn't take place in the mill. It takes place in the beach. A beach is where they gather all the oil and load it inside trailer.
Okay.
The millers are innocent. They don't know what is going on.
No, here. They adulterate at the mill.
Really, here?
Yes. All these villages around. Yes, those small mills. That is where they pour the colorant. Once the woman has taken delivery of her product, that's where she will just open the container and pour the colorant inside and lock it back. Open, pour, lock back.
It's a general practice, especially in the north.
Yes.
And the north also the cost, let me be very honest, because I've sold oil there. If you bring in oil that is
not red,
that is not red, they will refuse. They say it's not original.
Exactly.
So in fact, they have told me. I had a shop there in Langton, North Local Government of Plateau State. They have called me out and told me, if you want to sell here, when you bring oil, you put color for us, we will buy it. So when your customer is telling you, this is what I want, sometimes it's not a matter of...
because in some cases, the oil that they use, so the colorant that they use, is not water soluble. It's oil soluble.
Yes.
A lot of those oil soluble colorants are meant for non-edibles.
Yes.
For plastics. So that is what they pour. The water soluble ones will not go with the oil.
Yes, it will mix.
Exactly. So that's where the thing is dangerous.